Hello, everybody out there in social media land. My name is Lisa, and welcome to another edition of the Book and Banter Society. And I am recording this on March 21st, 2026. Okay, question of the day. Have you ever been unemployed? And just when you find a job, then you find out it's not quite what it's cracked up to be. And that's kind of what this movie is about. The movie I'm talking about is Human Resources, rated for mature audiences. This movie came out in 2021 and it has a running time of 1 hour and 48 minutes. Before we get started, as always, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And also, too, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell. And in case you didn't know it, I am a writer and I do have a book, and it is called The Creeping Things and Other Tales of Madness and Mayhem. And you can find my book on Lulu, Amazon, and all over the place. I'm worldwide. Just joking. And also, too, look me up on Instagram under the Book and Banter Society. Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on the Book and Banter Society are my opinions and my opinions alone. I am not a professional movie critic. I am just a person that loves movies and I like to share them with you. And also, too, there may be things in these movies or things that I may say that may trigger you. There's talk of violence, gore, I mean, you name it. So I'm just letting you know you have been warned. And spoiler alert, I will not give away the ending of any of the movies, but I do talk about them a lot. So, okay, disclaimer out the way, spoiler alert out the way. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now let's meet Sam Coleman. Now, Sam, as you can see, he's very anxious, he's very nervous, and we don't know what's going on with him, but he's sitting in his car in a drive through, and you can see he has post-it notes, and those post-it notes remind him, stay calm, you can do this. So it looks like Sam may have some type of anxiety issue. So anyway, it's time for Sam to order, but instead of ordering food, he asks the person very nervously, I just need to know, are you guys hiring? And he actually takes his paper resume and he holds it up to the drive-through speaker. And the person behind the speaker is like, "Sir, this is a drive-through window. We can take applications inside." And then Sam is like, "Oh, you know what? That's okay. Just give me a burger. And you know what? No cheese because I'm lactose intolerant." And it's like, "Okay." And look, we can see why Sam is so anxious. Look at all of the rejections he has received. I can totally understand. So he just puts his head down in defeat. And just like a miracle, his phone rings. He is told the job he applied for, he has the job. And look at Sam. Sam is happy as hell. And he's like, "Oh, when do I start?" And they said today. So Sam is like, "Yes." And Sam drives so quick and so fast. He gets to his new job, Brooks Hardware, and he is greeted by Gene, who is the manager. And oh my God, Sam, look at him. He's kind of has a little like, that look of relief on his face. And Gene, the way I describe his personality, it's almost like a game show host. Like he's boom, he's always on it. So you see Sam, he's sitting in, the room, and then all of a sudden Gene comes in with this little TV and he goes, "Okay, it's mandatory. I show you this video so you can know all the rules and regulations of Brooks Hardware." And Sam is like, "Okay." Oh my god, and the video is so corny. I mean, look at it. It looks like something from, I don't know, the early 1980s, but Gene loves it. He goes, "Look, look, wait, 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 wait. You'll see when they do this and when they do that." And Sam is like, "Yeah, yeah." Like, he's really impressed. So Gene shows him around the store. He's like, "Okay, this is a gardening section here, and this is the paint section." I mean, he's boom, boom, boom. And Sam is looking around like it's Disneyland, like, "Oh my God, there's so many things here." And then they get to the back of the store, and Gene says, "Okay, this power grid right here, do not touch it. Don't ever touch it because this runs all the lights and everything in the store. So, nope, do not touch." And then Sam and Jean, they're walking down the hallway, and then they run into this guy right here, Brian. And he's coming out of this door where, look, it says danger, authorized personnel only. And he looks kind of sheepish, like, what's he been doing behind that door, right? And then that's when Gene is like, "Hey, Brian, this is Sam, our new employee." And Brian is like, "Yeah, like whatever." You can already tell Brian's an a-hole. He could care less about Sam, and he could actually care less about Gene as well. But then when Brian leaves, Gene tells Sam, don't worry about him. That's just how he is. Don't worry about it. Shake it off. So that's what Sam does. So Gene continues to show Sam around the store, and then he's so proud to give Sam a Brooks Hardware little jacket to wear, and then he gives Sam his little temporary badge. And Sam kind of wants to tell him something about his badge, probably that his name is misspelled. But you know what? Sam is just so happy to have a job. I guess he doesn't want to rock the boat, so he's like, never mind. Like, hey, I don't care if you misspell my name or not. Just give me a paycheck. And then Gene introduces Sam to another employee by the name of Sarah. And then Gene leaves so Sarah can train Sam how to work the register, how to ring things up, all that good stuff. And Sam is so nervous. But Sarah, she's nice to him. She can see, like, he may have a little bit of anxiety. He's anxious. And she goes, "You know what, Sam? You got this. You can do this." So he's like, "Oh, okay, thank you." So as you can see, Sam is a little nervous because he's by himself at the register. But Sarah, she told him previously, "If you need me, just get me on the walkie talkie and I'll be there to help you." So he gets on the walkie talkie and he tells her, "Well, there aren't any customers." And she says, "Yeah, this is basically how it is. The only time it gets really busy is during the Black Friday sale. But other than that, it is just smooth sailing." And at the bottom of the picture, Sam opens up his work locker and he puts a little happy face in there. He is just so happy to have a job. And in the last picture, you see he's leaving work and he does a little happy dance, like one of those dances where it's like, "Yes, I survived work day number one." Sam is in the break room with Sarah and he tells her, he's going to community college right now and he hopes to transfer to medical school. And she's like totally impressed. She's like, "Okay, Dr. Sam." And then she goes, "Well, doctor, save me from this job because it's killing me. Why don't you just help me burn this place down?" And Sam takes it literally and he's looking all scared. And she goes, "Sam, I'm just joking, okay?" And then she says, "Come on, it's boring around here. And then, to be honest, it is a little creepy. Why are you wasting your time here?" And Sam is like, hey, this seems like a pretty good job to me. And not only that, I'm catching on pretty quick. So then that's when she goes, you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm just happy there's another normal person around here. And then Sam just smiles. Because, I mean, when you think about it, Sam is like, shit, man, this gig is good. I get a paycheck. Nobody bothers me. It's like, this is the life for me. That is, at least until I become a doctor. Now it's what you've all been waiting for, the creepy part. So, Sam, every night he has to pass by Jean's office in order to get to his car in the parking lot. So he usually, hey, Jean, good night. Jean's like, hey, have a good evening, whatever. But this time, as you can see, he says, good night, Jean. Jean doesn't say anything. Good night, Jean. He doesn't say anything. Me, I would have just kept it moving. I would have just left. But not Sam. Sam goes into the office. Jean, Jean. It's like, oh my God. Then he puts his hand on Jean's shoulder, and then that's when Jean spins around and it scares Sam. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just spacing out, son. Sorry. Have a good evening. And Sam is like, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. And if you look at the picture, look at Gene's office. What is he working on, right? There's nothing there. Look at Sam's face as he's leaving the office. He's like, something's not quite right. And look how when he's outside, he's not dancing anymore. He's walking now with some anxiety, like, what the heck is going on around here? And look at this scene right here. This is supposed to be a customer. He looks creepy as hell. And then just when this customer gets close to Sam, then all of a sudden Sarah appears, and then she pulls Sam out of the way, and Sam is like, God, that guy, he's weird. What's up with him? And Sarah goes, oh, he's just a regular customer. He is a little strange. So Sam is like, what is going on here? And look, it is 9:59. He's like, when is 10 o'clock gonna come? Because 10 o'clock is when he's off the clock. But he's waiting and waiting. It's like that last minute is taking forever. Look at Sam, bored to death. Well, he won't be bored for long because he stumbles upon a door. He opens the door and he's in like this red room. He's looking around. The room is filled with a whole bunch of office junk, flyers, things of that nature. But then he stumbles on a book. He opens it up, and someone by the name of Keith has been keeping notes, kind of like workplace notes. And this employee, Keith, is saying, oh, I feel like I'm being watched. I need to get out of here. Stuff like that. So Sam tells Sarah, and Sarah's like, you know what? I do remember that employee, Keith, but I don't know what happened to him. And so they decide to break into Jean's office. Oh my God. And this is the nerve wracking part. So they're going through different files, and then there's one labeled Keith. They open up the folder. Guess what? It is totally empty. And at the same time, Sam is looking at that door that says authorized personnel only, but he's kind of like, I wonder too what's behind that door. Well, then Sam and Sarah have a little bit of a disagreement. They're in the break room, and Sarah's like, Sam, I don't understand why you want to work here. And he's like, hey, the job is cool. It is what it is. No one's bothering me. I'm fine. And then that's when Jean comes into the break room. Oh, is everything okay with you two? Is everything all right? And then Sarah says something like, well, I just hope Sam doesn't end up missing like Keith. And Sam just looks so anxious. And then that's when Jean is like, "What? What are you talking about?" And Sarah goes, "Yeah, Keith, him being missing." And then that's when Jean just starts laughing. And then that's when Jean says, "Why don't the two of you come into my office?" It's like, uh-oh. So then he pulls Keith's file and he goes, "The reason why Keith is no longer here is because he had an accident on his shift. Unfortunately, he fell from a ladder and he got busted up pretty bad." And then he gives Sarah the file so she can look at the information herself. So she looks through the paperwork and everything looks totally legitimate. But she's still like, "You know what? Why don't you let me and Sam contact Keith?" And Gene is like, "Come on, that's confidential information. I can't give you his information. There's no way I can do that, Sarah." Then that's when Sarah drops the bomb. That's when she says, "Well, you know what? None of this information was in this file before." And then that's when Jean is like, "What are you talking about before?" She goes, "Yeah, when I looked in this file, none of this information was here." Uh oh. Then that's when Sarah is saying, "Well, when me and Sam snuck into your office, none of this was in here." And then that's when she looks at Sam and she's like, "Sam, come on, help me out here." And Sam is looking like, "Ooh, this is getting too deep for me." And then that's when Sarah's like, "Come on, Sam, remember you found the room and Keith's messages, remember?" And then that's when Jean is like, "Sarah, come on, don't you drag Sam into this mess." And she's looking at Sam for help. And it's like, "Come on, Sam." And then that's when Jean is like, "I'm sorry, Sarah, but I'm gonna have to write up a report on you." And she's like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to write up a report and give it to Brian, the owner, because looking through files and stuff like that, this is totally against company policy." So then the next thing you know, she just storms off. But then that's when Jean is like, "Oh, Sam, I'm so sorry you had to witness that." So Sam is off the hook, right? But he's not off the hook with Sarah. And then that's when Jean starts writing up the report and he goes, "Okay, after I write up this report on Sarah, I need you to give it to Brian, okay?" And that's when he's like, okay." And it's like, "Sam, man, you freaking sellout." And you notice Sam's badge has changed, right? Look, remember he had that little funky little badge, but look now, he has the company professional badge because actually he has accepted Jean's offer to become a full-time employee. And he accepted the offer right in front of Sarah. So Sarah's gone and Sam is totally freaked out, but he's still doing a little bit of snooping around. So he finds employee records. And it turns out that Keith is not the only employee that has turned up missing. And as you can see, as he's walking to his car, it's like, whoa, it's the weight of the world on his shoulders. So he gets in his car and he calls Sarah. Of course, she doesn't pick up her phone, but he leaves her a message letting her know, "You know what? This is bigger than what we thought it was. Brian, the owner, he's covering up a lot of stuff. But you know what? I'm just letting you know I got a plan and I'm going to take Brooks Hardware. I'm taking them down." Well, Black Friday is here, and now it's time for Sam to put his plan in action. And remember, this is a very important day for the hardware store. And the hardware store has to make at least $15,000 at least. And you see, Gene and Brian, what they have done is they have made Sam the team leader over the temporary employees. So Sam will be, telling them what to do, where to put things, etc. And Gene and Brian will be helping out as well because it is going to be super, super busy. And as you can see from the top picture, look at Brian. He's in a suit working. I mean, he's all hands on deck. But guess what? In the meantime, Sam is going up to each temporary employee, telling them they can go home. And they're like, "What? I thought you guys needed help." And he's like, "No, you can go." And they're like, "Why? Why?" But then Sam tells them, "You will be paid a full day's work. You will be compensated." So when he tells them that, man, they're out. They don't ask any other questions. They leave. So now look at the crowd of people. They're like, "Hey, we need help. What's going on?" And look at Sam. Sam is not really too concerned. So you have a crowd of people, they need help. They're ready to be checked out, and there's no one there to check them out but Sam. And Gene is like, "What the heck is going on?" And he tries to work the register. He doesn't know how. People are yelling and screaming at him. He has a breakdown and he goes, "I'm going on a break." And then Sam, he kind of smiles because it's like, "Yes, I won." Because people are just leaving. They're like, "Well, no one can help us at the register and all this stuff. We're out." So they leave. And then Sam even puts on the intercom, "Oh, we're getting ready to close." And he shuts and locks the door. And then he writes down, "I did it, Keith." Almost like, I did this all for you." And what makes it even worse is the fact that the owner says, "We have to make at least $15,000 today. If we don't make $15,000 today, this company is in big trouble." And as you can see, the company is in big trouble. Okay, so Sam destroyed Black Friday for the hardware store, and it was a total disaster. However, what about all the creepiness in the hardware store? What about the missing employees? None of that has been solved yet. Something sinister is still going on in the hardware store, and Sam is going to have to find the answer and deal with it. So, what is the answer? Well, of course, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to watch the freaking movie. This movie was so much fun to watch, very enjoyable. Because you know what? I've watched so many horror movies, so many thrillers, suspense movies that sometimes I get a little jaded because sometimes I'm like, I already know what's going to happen next. But with this movie right here, I had no freaking clue what was going to happen next. So, like I said, I loved it. Very enjoyable. So, hats off to Braden, Evan, and Chris. And if I'm not mistaken, Braden directed this movie when he was 19. And not only that, during COVID, he was doing the editing of the film. And actually, you can check him out on YouTube because he has posted some YouTube videos of behind the scenes regarding how this movie came together. And the cast, amazing as well. And a special shout out to the lead actor in the movie, Hugh McCrae Jr. He did such a good job portraying anxiety, fear, scariness, creepiness. I mean, he did one heck of a job. So he's done some other acting as well. He has some stuff coming up. So go ahead and check him out as well. This movie was very, very enjoyable. I loved every minute of it, and I hope you guys do too as well. Well, once again, we have come to the end of an episode. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.